Hold on, I got you. Hold on. Hold on. To the rain, came I said repent, work these same change, that's the same thing.
Define Torah.
Torah means the law of God is revealed to Moses and recorded in the first 5 books of the Hebrew scriptures, the Pentateuch.
Bruce Speed
613.
Read the Torah. Read the Torah. I praise the Lord of all the laws. I'm with the law, my spirit besought. You are redeeming. I am a God. I don't pray to Venus. I don't pray to Mars. I don't got the songs, cause all of y'all false. I play the harp, I don't play the guitar. This is a war, I'm shooting these darts. I'm on the light, I shoot at the dark. It is on sight, we don't need to talk. I don't like wizards who think that they hard. I don't like witches who play like they God. I don't like rappers who put on facade. They think that we soft, we killing them all. Let me think. I pull out my sword. The fire within me, it come from the Lord. He is my source and he will endorse. All evil spirits I kill with precision. I'm closing my eyes and he giving me vision. Heaven and hell is the only decision. I ask again, what's your religion? All of religion is simply division. One is a Muslim, one is a Christian, one is a Buddhist, y'all not really living. One is a Judas, y'all don't really listen. Then there's atheists who pick no religion. Man, what is this? It's giving me shivers. It's hard to win this.
You guessed it. Do I be feeling electric? Listen to me, I check 'em. I lean on you to be extra.
it now. Said, you think you kinda how? What you think you gon' give him to run around? Say, really, I think it's a game, right? He gon' end the world in that same night. He gon' lead the world up like it's game night. Crying, staring at you like stage fright. I'm like, I don't have animosity against you. We just be making music to repent. So really, I'm not trying to offend you, but I must be this prophecy against you. I'm in the Lord's bosom like a igloo. He call it Israel like I miss. None of my angels soft like a tissue. You better get it cleared in a crystal. I see it all fall like October. Stop using precepts to control her. I got the ruach on my shoulders. I got her tucked in like I stole her. Oh, well, about to need this metal. Easy body scattered like cattle. My shit drawn lines like a flannel. She don't cut population like that. Don't stop. Prepare, please. The money can't save from it. I'll breathe. Yes, I am brand. You get the best. If you access to it like a little shit, I can't quit. I want the rock that's it. I want the rock that's it. I want the rock that's it. I can't quit. I want the rock that's it. I want the rock that's it. I want the rock that's it. You know it did. I want the rock that's it. That is the drug I can quit. We hit it up like a fist. Yeah, lit. I got the kid on my lip. But demons are coming in quick. I believe them like a pig. I got the kid on where my manners on spit. I'm turning the beat to the kitchen. Breaking what on my fist. Doing it for all my descendants. This is the land of the living. We giving you true, not religion. Heaven and hell is the vision. Please hurry and make your decision. The city be looking suspicious. That's how much you done for me. I hope that your soul believe. Like a fire could go be easy. We got on your things. It's not a game. I dropped on my knees. From much I came to give us a game. He gave me the keys. We came from the mud. We put in the work. We pull up our sleeves. So I do the thing. I'm like, I be holding it down. I'm like, I be holding it down. Yeah, 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 yeah. You can't tell me what it was for. Can't be, but it wasn't enough. Tell me what the singing was for. Tell me what you're doing it for. Big pink, cause the time is up. Big pink, cause the time is up. It's for now, but you gave it your trust. I put mine from the guy who you don't care.
Sin is mine, there be no cap. Tryna judge this money, got a mistaken. We gotta bring more business life. So me and Side just out with no mixtape. They feel like your credits is wrong, then he rather end it all. Them edges have been in the blow and they about to set it off. He counts in the pocket just like when you throw him out of town. So I be behind me, so I just have to kill him out.
It's under the head, but me alone with the hope. Separate me from the loneliness. The party is over, you brought the candles. Then they lost and they boldness.
They stole your song, you getting paid and it's not enough. You enslaved to a belly truck. They pray for it, yeah, they set it up. For the income, you get worried, but when the income, man, you burn it up. Now tell me how you gon' run it up.
You can't tell me what it was for. Can't be, but it wasn't enough. Tell me what the singing was for. Tell me what you're doing it for. Big pink, cause the timing is up. Big pink, cause the time is up. It's for now, but you gave it your trust.
Shalom, shalom.
A deep sense of shock and fear engulfs Uganda's LGBTQ community. Their way of life turned on its head after Tuesday's anti-homosexuality bill was passed in Parliament. The new law has drawn the ire of the Western world.
It would impinge upon universal human rights, jeopardize progress in the fight against HIV/AIDS.
Human rights chiefs meanwhile argue the bill could give license to incite harm upon one another.
It will render lesbian, gay and bisexual people in Uganda criminals simply for being who they are and for existing.
Under the bill, people caught having gay sex would face life in prison. So-called aggravated homosexuality, used to describe gay sex committed without consent or against children, would be punishable by death. The legislation also outlaws even identifying as LGBTQ, inciting fear from rights advocates.
I don't know if there are going to be concentration camps or rehabilitation centers that are so discriminatory, because many people are going to be internally displaced.
Uganda was already notorious for intolerance of homosexuality, which has been criminalized since the colonial era. Discussions leading up to the vote were also laced with homophobic rhetoric, as lawmakers conflated sexual abuse with consensual same-sex activity between adults.
We are making this reinforce the law enforcement officers to make sure that homosexuals have no space in Uganda.
It's a position reflected on the streets of Kampala, as many locals on Wednesday expressed their support for the bill.
God created man and woman, and we cannot accept one sex to go on the same sex.
It is okay, because I can't see such a child of mine doing such a thing.
The new legislation will now be sent to President Yoweri Museveni, who will choose whether to sign it into law. But some analysts say Uganda's leader may prove reluctant to repeat history and avoid damaging his country's reputation in the eyes of foreign investors and donors.
We will protect our children, and we are making this law. We are making this law for ourselves. We are making this law for our children.
Uganda's parliament on March 21 has approved some of the world's harshest anti-gay laws. They have passed a law that proposes tough new penalties for same-sex relationships and criminalizes anyone identifying as LGBTQ.
We are going to reinforce the law enforcement officers to make sure that homosexuals have no space in Uganda.
The law, which was passed after more than 7 hours discussion, chaos and amendments, called for a life sentence for anyone engaging in gay sex. Violations under the law also draw steep penalties, including death for so-called aggravated homosexuality. The White House has also condemned Uganda's extreme anti-LGBTQ law.
If the AHA is signed into law and enacted, it would impinge upon universal human rights, jeopardize progress in the fight against HIV/AIDS, and damage Uganda's international reputation.
Recordings.
Shalom, shalom. All praise to Yahweh Mashiach Yahushua, for surely his mercy endure forever. All praise to the Most High for another installment of the Life or Death Show. I am Officer Banakar, back to you with the scripts. With this installment, God don't cosign. You can be whatever you want to be. All right? Your parents, your mother co-signed this. Your parents told you this, fed you this lie. They told you this in school. But the Most High never told you that. The Most High told you that He is your father and you are His servant. He even told you that you're His firstborn son. All right? So the Most High never co-signed that. The Most High never told you you could be whatever you wanted to be. That was you, your parents, your teacher, whoever was over you. But this is captivity. That kind of stuff happens. When we get this confusion, we believe in this new system, when we believe all these things that are vain and don't profit us and will end up killing us and will be self-destructing as a nation. All right? But we're going to get to that in the scripts. All right? Shalom, shalom. Let's get Colossians chapter 3, verse 17. The code of our people. Colossians chapter 3, verse 17. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of our Mashiach Yahushua. Let me say that as it is. Do all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God and the Father by Him. All right? Why is that significant? Doing everything by word and deed is doing everything by action and being all of you, you're basically serving the Most High. All right? That's what you want. That's what our people are. We're servants of the Most High in word and deed. Everything that we do with our hands and what comes out of us is serving, is to serve. It's supposed to serve the Most High Yahweh. All right? But these days, all people do things that serve some other God. You know, whether it be their heart that they're serving, you know, because for a lot of our people, their heart is their God, or their mother is their God, all right? Or this system is their God. Money is their God, all right? But you're not servants of that system. If you ever paid attention to what happens to Israel when they serve things other than the Most High, we always look stupid in the eyes of our people and the other nations. All right? Because we as Israel, we can't do bad right. We can't do foolish things correctly. All right? We may be wise in doing evil, but when we actually do it, we look stupid. All right? We look the worst of everybody when we do it. All right? We got our young men coming out of jail or just being in the street. They probably never been to prison, but they're sagging their pants. All right? We got people in the islands, you know, with the skinny tight jeans on, wearing scantily clad clothing, latex, you know, in that dancehall culture. And over here we have our people in Atlanta, Georgia going off. You know what I mean? Whenever our people go off as a nation, we can't do bad right. There is no doing I can do bad all by myself. No, you can't. You couldn't do it right to begin with. There is no doing it by yourself. All right? That's your way that you've chosen. But the scripts say that, you know, these laws, statutes, commandments, the judgments, that when we follow them, the other nations are going to look at us and admire us for the wisdom and the understanding that we have because of the Most High. All right? But deciding that we can be whatever we want it to be is not the first step in being us. It's not the first step in realizing or being enlightened as you. The first step is fearing the Lord, being a servant, you know, being the servant of the Most High. Learn from the best, which is the Most High. All right? He gave all the knowledge to you, but you got to learn to be his servant. You got to learn under the Father, I mean, as his child. And until you do that, you will continue, all people will continue to fall, you know? And the sad thing is that sometimes the Most High, or a lot of times these days, the Most High will hand us over to the very things that kill us. You know? In the beginning, when we went off in the ways of the other nations. So here's what the Most High did. He said, okay, you don't want to serve me? You want to serve the other nations? All right, I'm going to put the other nations over you. You see how you like that. Our people were serving with rigor. You know, our people are crying and groaning. And the Most High finally had mercy and said it was time to save us. And so he did, and he brought us out of captivity. You know? But in between that, the Most High gives us over to that reprobate mind so that we can fully understand that this is not the way. Everything of everyone else but the Most High is not the way. It's not the way to live. All right? That's the way of the flesh. That's the way of people that are not you. All right? Because guess what? When you die, you got to go forth to the Most High, and you got to listen to the Most High about your life and your judgments that are planted on you. They're not going to be right next to you. They're not going to be with you in that day. All right? So the Most High puts these swords, he puts these scourges on us so that we can remember, hey, we're not supposed to be like that. That this isn't the way. There's too much pain in this. All right? But let's get more on that. Romans chapter 1, verse 22. Because we guard ourselves in this way, in the ways of the nation, ways of ridiculousness, foolishness. All right? Romans chapter 1, verse 22. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Our people will get degrees, and get certified in being in this LGBTQ nonsense. Our people will get degrees and get certified in all these things, but this is not of all people. All right, this is not of the Most High. So what often happens is you will go and bicker with anyone on the street. It doesn't even have to be us. The so-called white man can turn your argument around any type of way, and it will make sense. All right, because even that doesn't make sense to the so-called white man, even though he does it sometimes. All right. Saying that you can be whatever you want to be, you can be a man. If you're a man, saying that you could be a woman, that you could be a 10-year-old, a little 10-year-old girl, if you're a man, or saying that if you're a woman, saying that you could be a 44-year-old man, you identified as a 44-year-old man. All right, saying that you can be these things is a blemish on our people, and it's a blemish on you. And you acting out as if you believe these things, and you people do. All people do believe these things. I can be whatever I want to be, When you do go forth and do this, and let's say you take off, because our people do take off their members, when they go along with their transgender surgery. Let's say they cut off the member. A man cuts off his privy part. All right. Do you know how hard it is to get that back on when you finally realize that you don't want to be what you said you wanted to be 20 years ago? The next time that if you actually believe, if there's someone listening to me right now that actually believes that they could be something, another gender, other than they're supposed to be, other than what the Most High made them. If you are a man and you really believe that you're a woman and you're willing to go take that surgery, I want you to ask your doctor if it's possible to get your member back. All right? And I want you to rethink your situation. All right? Because you're not supposed to be that way. The Most High never made you out of confusion. He never made you without understanding. He's the Most High. But you profess yourself to be wise and thinking that you know more than the Most High. So let's see. And change the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like unto corruptible man, and to birds, and four-footed beasts, and creeping things. The things that we reverence and things that we really serve, we change that image into something that we wanted in this world. So when we change the image, then we start to conform to whatever imagination we have. That's the sickness. All right? And sometimes the Most High will keep you right there for you to learn for a bit or for your destruction. All right? Let's keep going. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lusts of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections. The Most High gave us up onto these affections, Because the thing is, you have to understand, you're in the company, you as Israel, you're in the company of God. All right? You're supposed to be born into the company of God as his servants, doing different kinds of things for the Most High. When you try to change your identity, your image into something else, now you're basically putting a blemish on the Most High's name. The Most High is not going to have that in his company. The Most High is not having that. He's trying to get his children back. All right? He's waiting for you. He's waiting for you to turn. All right? So he can bring everybody back home. All right? The Most High is not going to have that right now. That's why you see things like Brazil flooding over after they did their carnival celebration, where they were worshiping the devil and they had these devil floats going on and all these other gods going on in the festival. All right, and the Most High smote them quick. And that statue, that Jesus statue in Rio de Janeiro. All right, even over here, the Most High smote for a lot of them with record rain right after Easter. The Most High is not having that right now. He's got a show that he's doing right now in front of you. You're living in the times where the Most High is actually showing himself that he is the Most High, doing these things that are unbelievable. And you want to be transgender, and you want to be something other than what the Most High made you to be. You playing a dangerous game with the Most High. It says right here, for this cause God gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change their natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burning in their lust toward one another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was me. All right. So that's why you see, in the homosexual community, in the LGBT community, you see all people with all of these diseases. That is the recompense. That HIV, the AIDS, all these diseases, and you don't know how to get rid of them, and now you're stressed out with a man with his boyfriend. The Most High is not going to have that. The Most High is trying. The Most High, all people, Israel, we dress out when we go out to look good. All right? Look good, smell good, feel good. All right? The Most High is out there with his servants out there on the street corners, showing you that his word is good, that his name is good. When he goes out, when his word comes out, it shows itself good. All right? And the Most High said he put his name upon Israel. You have to show yourself within the company of the Most High, like the Most High taught you. He's not gonna have other identities within his company. All right? The Most High made man and woman. All right? He's not going to have he's not co-signing other identities within his company, within his people, within his children. He's not going to do that. So when he decides to put you over to that reprobate mind, understand that he's just making a spectacle out of you to show you that's not what you're supposed to do either. All right? You saw the other nations, you saw these other people that are not you, who tortured you, who never loved you, do these things, then you decide to do it. All right, so for your friends and for your family, you're going to be the spectacle. And I'm going to make you look stupid. And you're going to be out there. And when it's time for everybody when it's time to come back to the Most High, and you don't hearken, I'm going to leave you there to be a memorial. All right, I'm going to leave you there to be a spectacle because you chose not me. So you're going to be high. You may get some notoriety. You may get some followers, and then the Most High is going to smite you. That's what the Most High does. All right? That's exactly what the Most High does. He will leave you right there. He will give you notoriety. He will give you fame in your wrong way, just so that you can get smitten, get smoked by the Most High, and everybody knows it's the Most High. All right? No one's going to question what happened to you. All right? But let's get more of that. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 26. Let's get transgenderism in the Bible. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 26. Let me do 22. Moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of God. But whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance, those so great plagues called they peace. For whilst they slew their children in sacrifice, abortion, or used secret ceremonies, or made revelings of strange rites, they kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but either one slew another treacherously, or grieved him by adultery. So that there reigned in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft, dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumult, perjury, disquieting of good men, forgetful of good turns, defiling of souls, changing of kind, disorder in marriages, adultery, and shameless uncleanliness. Everything that you believe and believing that or feeling like that you're something else is nothing but the curses. It's nothing but the iniquity of this world. It's nothing but the wrong thing. That's the Most High telling on you right there. All right? In perfect words, telling you, changing of kind. That's what you want to be. That's what you want to do. But the Most High never made you. He never made you with ignorance. He never made you without understanding. He never made you without you being his child. Without the knowledge of that you're Israel. The only one that doesn't acknowledge fully that you're Israel is you. Because if you did fully acknowledge that you're Israel, you would not be acting like that. If you fully remembered what the Most High is, or what the Most High really does and what he really cares about, having the knowledge of God in thought, you think 7 times before getting out of operation. Because the Christian church done switched up God on you. The Christian church gave you this homosexual white man to be your God, to be your savior. All right? The Christian church gave you that mess. And even you know by now, y'all should know by now, I believe you know by now that that's not Christ. All right? But whenever you do whatever you want to do and changing yourselves, changing of kind and being forgetful of the Most High, you're choosing that God. Because that's the only God that was allotted to you that would allow all that. That is the only God that's going to let you do whatever you wanted to do. That's going to co-sign what your mama said. Oh, baby, you can be whatever you want to be when you grow up. Without first giving you the information that you are the servants of the Most High. You are the children of God. Be that first. That is the highest thing you can be right now. That is the highest profession you could have right now. Servants of the Most High. The servants of the Most High see things no one else sees. Understand things people have yet to understand. All right? Get to feel things and get to have that unleavened feeling and that truthful feeling that no one else gets to feel. The servants of the Most High get to have communion with righteousness. You don't understand what that is until you try. All right? But you want to change into something else without being who you really are first. The Most High is not playing that. And the thing is, our people like to laugh and like to scoff. You know, when we come out in the streets, You like to stretch out your tongue and pull out your tongue and laugh at the prophets and laugh at your brothers for telling you, hey, you got nothing going for you right now. You look stupid. You dress stupid. Your ways are stupid. This is not gonna last. You can't survive as a people like this. You know what I mean? Let's get that in the scriptures. Because our people like to get beside themselves when they see their own people. That's a hatred. That is that hatred that's in the curses, man. Our people get beside themselves. Because you're doing it to us, but you're really doing it to the Most High. Let's get that. Let's get Isaiah 57, verse 3. But draw near hither, ye sons of sorcerers, the seed of the adulterer and the whore. Against whom do ye sport yourselves? Against whom make ye a wide mouth and stretch out the tongue? Are ye not children of transgression, a seed of falsehood, inflaming yourselves with idols under every green tree, slaying the children in the valleys, under the cliffs of the rocks? Don't y'all know yourselves? How you gonna stretch out your tongue? How you gonna provoke the Most High God, saying that you can do whatever you want to do, and stretch out your tongue to the prophets and stretch out your tongues and stick up your middle finger and do all these things? How can you do that? This is your first family, and the Most High is not gonna have that. Y'all should know better than to irk the Most High. Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. Y'all should already know. I know y'all heard that in church. In Matthew 4, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. That's one of my favorite verses. It helps me to remember the fear of the Most High. It helps clear my mind. If you remember, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God, as he tempted him in Massa, if you remember that, surely the Most High will give you more information to fortify yourselves, but you got to first take the first step, Israel. All right? You can't give yourself over to something that you know does not work, that you know probably won't last long. Making alterations to your bodies, making our people look stupid, and then showing yourselves on social media like it's something to be. You were never meant to be. We're never meant to be those people. That's not of us. That's not our diet. That's not our way. That's not of us. And you can't choose to be whatever you wanted to be. All right? Everybody was made the same. Everybody was made of Jacob. Well, one separate creature, one separate people. All right? In the early 2000s, in the late 90s, early 2000s, if you were actually African, you can actually be African. The Africans would have told you, yeah, you're one of us, come back. But when you try to identify with them, they told you what? They told you, no, we don't know you. No, we don't have anything to do with you. You're different. No. All right? Look how long it took the so-called white man to try to pull you into his system. And after 500 plus years, after 400 plus years, he still don't know how to love you. Our people of all people have no space and time for the nonsense that we put ourselves through. For putting ourselves through things that are not of the Most High. We have no space and time. Our people don't even know how to deal with the wealth deal with the wealth that they have. Our people don't have houses and places. Our people are coming to things, but our people are not coming to the greatness that they are because they decide to bump being whatever they really are and be everything else. Y'all rebellious people, man. Let me get that Isaiah chapter 30, verse 9. Because notice Uganda ain't having that. Uganda is not having that. All right? You got other countries turning back saying, no, we don't want no part of that. We're not allowing that in our country. We're not having that in our country. We want our people. We want our system. We want our culture. We want to survive. We want to have a currency. We want to have a standing. We want to survive whatever's going to happen next. We want to have children. But our people choose these other ways. Y'all better at least see what's going on. All right? At least open your eyes and see what's going on. Because maybe that's the Most High trying to shake you up and be like, no, it's not going to be like this. So at least pay attention to what the Most High is doing. He's going to get your attention. He's going to get your attention. All right? We might not have all the best marketing or the best advertisements, but the Most High knows how to get you. The Most High knows how to get your attention. I can tell you that. Isaiah 30, verse 9. This is our people. Verse 8. Now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever. That this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. Get you out of the way. Turn aside out of the path. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Wherefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perversedness, and stay thereon. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. Our people been rebellious against the Most High, trying to be whatever they wanted to be. That's why we got put into captivity, because we wanted to be other nations. We wanted to have what they had. You know what I mean? But then we tell our people that are coming to us, telling the prophets, when we tell you out in the streets, come back. Yo, this is wrong. Yo, you can't do this. That's not actually what the Most High looks like. That's not how the Most High is. That's not where you come from. The Most High is actually where you come from. All right? He's the one that established you. So you have to go back to the Most High through Hamashiach Yahushua. All right? This man, follow this man, go this way, do that, and you'll come back home. You'll find rest for your souls. All right? But y'all tell us, yo, I don't want to see that. I don't care about that. I don't want to hear what you call yourself prophets. Y'all look like Power Rangers. Y'all look like dancers right now. I don't want to hear what you got to say. All right, what are those? What are fringes? What are fringes? Man, get those drapes off. Get those drapes off and go home, man. Get a job. Y'all want to shoo us out the way and find every reason to not come back to the Most High. And then you tell us, yo, maybe if you taught like this, if you teach, you should be more accepting first. You should learn first. You should learn what we feel first. All right. The only person's feelings is the Most High's feelings. I'll tell you that right now, because the world does not go along with our feelings. Because if we did, we would have had everything already. Con, we would have had everything already. We would have been home already. All right. We would have had islands, lands. We would have been eating good already if the world went as we wanted it to be. If it went along with our hearts of what we wanted at the time, we would have never went to slavery. But it does not work like that. There's someone writing this. You got to go back to him, because he is the master architect. He made you. You are going to look stupid if you try to change who you are. But our people are rebellious. Our people are foolish, man. So when we come to you in the Life or Death show, we come to you and we speak these things, trying to tell you come back to the laws of the Most High. We're trying to tell you this. Baruch chapter 4 verse 1. If you've been watching the show, then you know this one. Baruch chapter 4 verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God. No, this is the book of your feelings. This is the book of the commandments of God. No, these are just suggestions. This is the book of the commandments of God. Nah, it's just advice from your grandma. This is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life. You're going to come to that enlightenment. You're going to start thinking fresh. You're going to be refreshed. You're going to be doing everything you want to do properly. All right? You will be prospering. You'll finally be a Jew. You know what I mean? You'll have these things. You'll have wealth. You'll have a system for your life. You'll say no to all the things that you're supposed to say no to, and yes to all the things that you're supposed to say yes to. All right? But what? But such as leave it shall die. You're going to be out there in the street looking as stupid as you are, wearing drag, wearing makeup even though you're a man. You know? I can tell you this right now. We can clearly see that you are a man if you're trying to dress up like a woman. Even if you try to get nipped and tucked in and get your surgery done and all that type of stuff, we can clearly see that you are a man. You are a man. You got a man's bone structure. You cannot change that. You will not change that. You are a man. People, you are exactly who the Most High made you to be. All right? You're not, there is no Adam and Steve. There's no changing yourself. The makeup don't work. It don't work. It's not going to work. It's not happening. All right? That's not going to save you. All right? If you are a woman changing yourself into a man, more often than not, we can tell exactly what you are. Some people just have to be blinded by the Most High to not see that you're a woman. You know what I mean? We can tell by your face. We can tell by your facial features, or by your neck, or by your calf. We can tell by all these things. Your hands are still the same. We can tell you. We can see properly that you're something else. Now you just look weird. Our people are looking foolish in these streets, man. And our people are being ashamed unto our own. And that's the problem. That's why the Most High sent us down here, because we're ashamed unto our own selves. No matter how we come out the house, we are still ashamed unto our own selves. We're still shaming our people. No matter what we get into, we're still shaming our people. Because none of it is of the Most High. None of it is of our caliber, what we're supposed to be. Nothing's of that. Nothing that we try to go through in this world is of that heavenly caliber. That is the level of godhood that the Most High gave to the Israelites. To be more like Him, He gave us His ways, that caliber, that wisdom, that understanding. Most High's not having anything else. He gave you the top of the top, and nobody else can touch you when you get there. I tell you that. Nobody can touch you when you get there. He gave you the top of the top, the cream of the crop, things that other nations can't see. Things that other nations can't do. He gave it to you. All right? But our people just love committing spiritual suicide, man. Let's drop down to 8. Ye have forgotten the everlasting God that brought you up. What? You have forgotten the Most High, everlasting God forever, that literally brought you up out of the womb to be His servant, to bring Jacob back to Him. You have forgotten who you belong to. Because if you remembered, you would have checked with Him. You would have checked with Him. We used to check. We used to have the Urim and Thummim. We used to have the Levites in place. We used to have prophets, you know, and they would prophesy to us what the Most High would say, his decree at that time. But if you remembered, you would have checked already, because you would have known what the Most High did to all the other nations. The other nations are still afraid of the Most High. They're very tactful when they deal with you. Esau's just going, the so-called white man has just been doing it overboard, but all the other nations are very tactful when they deal with you. They specifically don't want you to get up. They specifically don't want you to learn who you are. They're very tactful in what information you get. But we're gonna let the truth come out today, man. Because all that stuff is just tempting the Lord, and that's not for us. We don't want none of that. We don't want to get them scars on the Most High. All right? Because the righteous is going to be scarcely saved. I tell you right now, the prophets were throwing up, looking at the future, seeing those visions, crying to the Most High, make it stop. Y'all don't want what it is that the Most High got for his enemies, man. Let's continue. Ye have forgotten the everlasting God that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. For when she saw the wrath of God coming upon you, she said, Hearken, O ye that dwell about in Zion. God hath brought upon me great mourning. For I saw the captivity of my sons and daughters, was the everlasting brought upon them. Y'all come from a land, y'all come from a homeland, a motherland, Jerusalem. Learn who you're supposed to be from that. In fact, let's go ahead and get a video for you real quick. All right? Because I want you to see the foolishness. Even Uganda, even they can see the foolishness of what is allowed in the U.S., what you have allowed. All right, so let's go through that logic. All right.
America right now comes to Tanzania, comes to Ghana, comes to Zambia with 60 million. And guess what? 60 million only for Zambia. The 60 million, ask me what is it for? What is it for? For human rights. Across the river, China and Russia coming to South Africa.
This is exactly what they're giving. They're giving how much money? Over the human rights? Human rights for this other country? Y'all wonder why we ain't got no money. But I digress. Let's go on.
Ask me for what? For what? For military training and skills sharing of security. So the Americans are more interested in a transgender, homosexual agenda.
Which destroys a country.
Around the world. They will invest their money and give you money to protect human rights. Russia and China are coming with weapons and militarization strategies.
Which protects a country.
So that we can protect ourselves. Don't say this very loud and clear to the Americans. Continue on your transgender agenda.
He said you can have that. Keep the money. You can keep all that. Keep your agenda, is what he's saying.
Stay there. Leave us to do politics on the other side. Because what we need right now is not a minority human rights activation. What we need is a societal transformation.
Listen to what he said. A minority. Listen to what he said.
What we need is a societal transformation, activation. Human rights, stay there. Leave us to do politics on the other side. Because what we need right now is not a minority human rights activation. What we need is a societal transformation. And for you as Americans to think that we really envy that when you have an anti-lesbian, anti-gay, LGBT principle, then tourists would drop. Let me correct that once and for all, Smooth. And cut and clip this, and it must be loud and clear. Are you saying to me that all the tourists are gay? And when you hear that this is a non-gay zone, tourism will suffer? Question number one. Question number two, are you saying that we don't have a right to expressing ourselves as Africans? Question number three, if democracy means majority rules and majority votes against a principle, then why won't you allow that to become law? Are you saying the minority must manage the majority, or the majority must manage the minority? That if that whole ideology is wrong, then take democracy in a nice black dustbin bag and throw it outside.
You said if that's how you're going to do democracy, go ahead and pack that up and throw it out the trash, because that ain't democracy. That's not what you're saying that you want. Because their way, the American way of democracy is that it's going to be of majority vote. All right? That's understandable. But they're basically saying now, hey, we're going to give you all this money, just enforce this minority thing. You know, this thing that can't help your country. Just enforce this. Be like these little people. All right? These countries took upon themselves democracy. You know, believing in that way. So guess what happened?
Because what you're telling us is to by the people, for the people, with the people, and all the slogans you hear, what democracy represents. If we are 10 in the room and 9 people say no, and one person says yes, democracy says you go with the majority. So if we say we want to make Africa democratic, and the demographics of our democracy says no, then why do you philosophically want to manipulate the will of the majority to favor the will of the minority? Then this is where it really gets confusing to me. Because you're telling me one thing wrong, I understand that it's democracy, because it is based on the principle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When it comes to practice, no, you can't practice it like that. What do you want? Do you want democracy? You want anarchy? You want indigenous governance systems? You want meritocracy? But let's find another way of governing ourselves. But the ideology of democracy being founded on majority rule does not count. Because the rule that runs the South African constitution right now is not a majority count. I will go on the record for being on your show and saying it loud and clear without mixing words. Put 100 people on an island and lock them away from everybody. Put 100 people on an island who are heterosexual. Those are homosexual. Come back after 15 or 20 or 30 years. On that island, you'll find graves with no living being there. On this island, you'll find 10,000 people growing and exploring and moving. So, having said that, we as a society, particularly as African society, we also as traditional people have a right to our self-preservation and continuity as a people. Alternative lifestyles must be practiced where they must be practiced, but the main agenda of societal drive must be left to the right, because even those that are on the left come from the right. I don't know if that makes sense to you. The conversation that we had for the same-sex marriages was very tricky for me, because it did not seek to address the core issue. Are we saying this is what the people want? Or are we saying this is what the international community wants? Point number one. Point number two, in the event that I decide as a heterosexual that I want to bring up my children in a heterosexual way, why does the homosexual want to stand on the path of my own children and how I want to institutionalize them, and then pollute them with what they want? If you want to pollute these children, make your own. Why come to the heterosexual and then dictate?
Listen to that. Listen to that. This is exactly what's coming for our people. These homosexuals, these people who want to be like this is now going to come for our children. They already have come from our children. All right? Listen to that again.
Of my own, of my children in a heterosexual way. Why does the homosexual want to stand on the path of my own children and how I want to institutionalize them, and then pollute them with what they want? If you want to pollute these children, make your own.
If you want to pollute... So he's telling the so-called white man, hey, if you want to be homosexual, all right, and you want to love a man, look, guess what? Go make your own. All right? We don't need this over here. We don't need you polluting my children and how they should live. We don't need you teaching my children your ways if your ways are just going to lead to them being wiped out. There's no, we're not having a consensus here. All right? If these other nations can see clearly that this does not work for them, and their estate, it does not work for them. Because we used to call these third world countries. They used to look up to America. And they're telling you right now, hey, we can't do this. No. You're going to have to hold this right here. No. Because even we can see that this is not going to, we can't prosper like this. We don't have time for this. We're down and low right now. In Israel right now, we are down and low. You know what I mean? They're saying, yo, we're not having this. There's no building with two men trying to be together in marriage. There's no building there. All right? Wait 100 years and you're gonna see two dead bodies. You will not see children. There's no building there. Let's continue.
Welcome to the heterosexual and then dictate the ways of the homosexual. So who is with the right this time? Are you saying the right to rely with the homosexual or the right to rely with the heterosexual? The balance needs to be found right there. That every citizen has got the right to life and decide how they want to run their lives and how they want to bring up their children, etc. And so ultimately we might end up with an Urania. Let's create a state where this can happen there. And those who want to live in this other space, they can move into that space. And we are free to choose, to change. It's a very deeper conversation. But also, especially, we're giving it the time it demands. We're giving it the depth of thought that it demands. So that in the midst of just saying human rights, we don't become emotional over protect gay rights, protect heterosexual rights. Because when you protect homosexual rights, you also need to become respectful of the heterosexual. And when you're promoting heterosexual, you also need to protect the homosexual.
So what do you think, Israel? Because that's exactly where our people are heading. Our people are heading to a place where our own people are now denounced. Our own people are getting canceled for trying to protect our own people. You can't keep the two. You can't honor the two. You can't honor heterosexual and then honor homosexuality. You have to choose. Either you're on this team or you're on that team. And the Most High gonna have it that way. I'll tell you that right now. The Most High is a God that segregates. I'll tell you that right now. All right? That's why you have segregation. The Most High will segregate you from everybody else. He will separate you. All right? Because again, the Most High don't mix with everybody's emotions. He don't mix with everybody's opinion. He doesn't mix with every nation. You can't mix God and make and piece together parts of God that you want and say that this is gonna be our God, and that we're gonna serve this one God, and then this God is gonna do what we need for us. That's not the God that made the universe. That's not who He is. All right? That's not His architecture. That's not what He decided. All right? But it's for us as Israel to know these things. Us as Israel to know these things, and other nations understand that you cannot, this is not self-sustainable. You cannot do this to yourself and hope to grow into anything. All right? But our people got to come back together. Our people are way too separated. That's why we have all these different opinions. That's why we have all these different ways of governing ourselves that come from our own consensus. We should have joined the Most High's consensus. You know what I mean? We're not right now in the proper network that we're supposed to be mentally. Let me get Ezekiel 18 and 31. Because the Most High doesn't want us to perish. He doesn't want us to not be as a nation. You know, in Jeremiah 29, he said that we're supposed to take wives so that we will not be diminished. We're supposed to grow there, build houses, take wives, have children, so we won't be diminished where we are. He never told us, Adam and Steve, we're going to be doing this now. He never told us that. We're changing the script. We're changing the agenda. All right, bringing a new Bible. No, he never said that. Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 31. Cast away from you all your transgressions, whereby ye have transgressed, and make you a new heart and a new spirit. For why will ye die, O house of Israel? For I have no pleasure in the death of him that dieth, saith the Lord God. Wherefore turn yourselves and live ye. The Most High don't want you to be like, he don't want you to be diminished. He's not on you like this. First of all, the Most High is giving you more love than you would ever get from anybody else. You are not going to get that from your so-called partner. The Most High is giving you the true meaning of love, teaching you the commandments, teaching you how to actually better yourself. He wrote you. He formed you out of clay and dust. He gave you being. He's telling you how to be perfect. He's telling you how to be you. How to be all that you are supposed to be. And that's all that you would ever want. But you can't get there and thinking that you're the one that can get you there. The Most High doesn't want you to die. He wants you to live. That's why he told you to procreate. He told you he wants you to have proper marriages. He wants you to marry. He wants you to have children. Even in captivity, he didn't put you in captivity for your destruction. You were destroyed, but he didn't put you in captivity for you to stay destroyed. He put you in captivity so that you can learn, so that your children can learn after you, and then the children's children can learn after your children. But how can you have that if you're trying to change your kind? How can you have that if you're changing a kind? How can you have that if you're trying to be transgender? You know? If you're having other people's children, some of you have messed up your reproductive system and now have to go and adopt another nation's child. Go adopt a so-called white man's child. Or a so-called Indian man's child, a so-called Chinese man's child, anybody else's child. And then that has to be what you're that's what you're gonna invest your life in someone else's child. That's exactly what the so-called white man wants. That child can now get all of your skills, all the things that the child can now learn from the family of Israel much closely and get all the good things or all the talents of Israel and start to understand these things and implement these things for himself. The Most High did not give all that to them for a reason. Because you're his children. He doesn't want you giving to other nations like that. That's just for you. Because you're his children. He stamped his name on you. It's why you can't be everything that you want to be. You don't even know what you really want. But our people got to come together to get this word, to get this understanding, to get this knowledge of how to be, how to live. Our people got to come together because this is a matter of life or death. All right, Israel. Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. I'm going to read that again. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. All right? Nobody wants Israel. Nobody wants so-called black folks. All right? They would have recruited you. They would have taken you into their countries. All right? They would have made places and houses for you. They would have opened up programs for you. Nobody wants you. You are by yourself. Still slaves and captives in this system. Y'all got to understand that. We are by ourselves. We are homeless by ourselves right now. Just put that together, Israel. You are not desired. You have to come together. You have to at least try to come together. And I'm going to show you how to come together. I'm going to show you 2 ways of how to come together. and where you should start. Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 37, verse 12. But be continually with a godly man, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry. So go be with someone that's just of the same kind of spirit as you. Probably grew up around where you grew up, that knows the things that you've been through. All right? A man that came from that and now keeps the commandments. All right? A sister that came from that and now keeps the commandments. All right? Go be around someone that keeps the commandments so you can learn and see what's good for Israel. You got to change your ways, Israel, because we cannot survive like this. This is not, you can't survive like this. Because how many of our people transfer into the other gender that they want to be in, and then say they want to come back, and then start having a hard time turning back. They're having regrets. Go check out those statistics. All right? This is not what you want. This ain't what you want, man. It is not what you want. I'm going to get the other one right now. Let's get Isaiah chapter 58. I'm going to show you the importance of the Sabbath day. Isaiah chapter 58, verse 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord, honorable, and shalt honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. So the Most High is going to literally start feeding you your heritage, your ways, your history, everything about you that's supposed to be you. The Most High is going to give that to you. When you keep the Sabbath and you separate from the entirety of the rest of the world, and you keep the Sabbath day the way the Most High wants you to keep it, separate unto him. When you start keeping the Sabbath, when you start staying around godly people who are keeping the commandments of the Most High, all right, notice, godly men and women are keeping the commandments, are trying to keep the commandments of the Most High. 613 plus commandments. Those are godly people. All right? Scriptures does say that ye are gods, you shall die as men. You're not acting like gods. That's the problem. So you got to stay around them. You got to stay around them so you can have that conviction on you, so they can convict you, so they can urge you, so they can show you the error of your ways, which and what way were you going wrong. These are the things that the Most High gave you so that you can live. He doesn't want you to die. He wants you to multiply. He ordered us to multiply. All right, let me get that real quick. Let me get Genesis chapter 9, verse 6. Or 9, verse 7. Genesis chapter 9, verse 7. Check this out. Genesis chapter 9, verse 7. And you, be ye fruitful and multiply. Bring forth abundantly in the earth and multiply therein. That's an order from the Most High. The Most High wants you to be fruitful. You're from this line that he told you to be fruitful. All right, that's your job. You can't do that being another gender and getting your member chopped off and getting whatever parts you're not supposed to have and marring up your body and getting surgery everywhere and sterilizing yourself. You can't multiply like that. You're not going to. It's not going to happen. and then taking care of and adopting another nation's baby. No, you just adding the wrong kind of icing on the wrong kind of cake. I'm telling you right now, you cannot be like that. We can't be like that. You're adding more than an insult to our injury. When you decide that you want to be transgender, you decide you want to be LGBTQ, you're adding more than more than insult than to our injury. All right? So let me get back to Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1, and finish that up for you. Because this is why we call it life or death. This is a matter of life or death. All people being the way that they're supposed to be, trying to live in the commandments of the Most High, is a matter of tempting him, taking him off, and being in his favor. The other nations already know there's a Most High. They already know that you're the children of the Most High. Y'all got to queue up. Y'all got to understand, man. Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. Y'all got to turn, man. Repent ye, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Y'all got to turn from this one right here. We look too stupid doing that. We look stupid in a Medea movie. But that right there, we look way too... Our people just got to come back and at least admit that, okay, we doing too much right now. There's a better way. We went too far doing all this right here. We can't let our people do this. All right? What do you think, Israel? Can we take other forms? Can we take other identities? Can we take other shapes? And then assume that shape, you know? Maybe the white man is so successful. Maybe we should try to be white. Well, we tried to do that, and we stumbled. All right? So now you're going to try to be the opposite sex? But what do you think, Israel? Is that nonsense? Put that in the comment section. If you think there is some truth or some kind of logic, some foundable, functional, foundational logic to being another race, another identity. If you believe that, put that in the chat. Let's hear you out. All right? But right now, we're a little bit over time. So all praise to the Most High. Through Mashiach Yahushua, for surely his mercy endure forever. Because if it didn't, we'd be wiped out already. I'll tell you that right now. But all praises to the Most High. We are still alive. You know, I'm still alive to come to you live and direct from LOZ 2937 West Broad Boulevard. You want to keep the Sabbath, come on over and keep the Sabbath. Or any of our divisions. Come and learn and come get fed with the heritage of Jacob your father. Come learn. Are you really African? Or are you something else? Did we really come from Egyptians? Or did we come from something else? Are we aliens? Come over and learn these things. All right? Shalom, Israel. We love you. Come back and keep the commandments.